In a world where carbs are your enemy, you need one man to help you fight your battles. That man is Jimmy.
Combating nutrition disinformation and general bull. It's Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com.
Nutritional Therapy Association. The NTA trains and certifies nutritional therapy practitioners
like me
and consultants by focusing on bioindividuality.
One size diet doesn't fit all.
And the range of dietary strategies that support wellness.
Being healthy overall, y'all.
The NTA emphasizes a whole food,
vegetables from our front yard and backyard gardens,
properly prepared,
like fermented and sprouted,
and nutrient-dense diet,
like grass-fed butter and grass-fed beef,
as the key to restoring balance and enhancing the body's innate ability to heal. Throughout their programs, students learn a wide range of educational tools and techniques to identify and correct nutritional imbalances and deficiencies in their clients, and they launch a successful career in holistic nutrition.
And they might become best-selling authors and podcasters too.
The NTA produces like-minded practitioners and consultants that we consider the leaders in health and wellness.
Oh yeah.
Registration is now open for May classes, and you can learn more and save your seat by going to nutritionaltherapy.com.
Go sign up.
And don't forget to mention Jimmy and Christine Moore on your application. What's that website again, Christine?
Nutritionaltherapy.com.
Go sign up, y'all. You hear?
Oh yeah.
You're so silly. What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Instagram Live, and we're here with another episode of Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website, and if you'd like to engage live in the content, here's how you do it. You go follow me over on Instagram Live. I'm at Living Low Carb Man, LIVINLOWCARBMAN. Once you're there, you can engage live in the content, just like all these beautiful people are doing right now. Welcome to the show today, you guys. If you missed the live, you can watch it on replay for up to 24 hours. After 24 hours, it does disappear. Be sure you go check out all the past episodes up on YouTube. If you type in a keyword Jimmy Rants, you will find the show. Finally, the best of the best moments of this here show are in podcast form. It's the Jimmy Rants podcast over on Apple Podcast as well as Stitcher. All of these links, you guys, are at JimmyRants.com. Today's Jimmy Rants was inspired by a quote that was posted on Instagram just this morning from my Keto Talk co-host, Dr. Will Cole. So those of you that listen to Keto Talk and follow Will, he constantly is adding encouragement, inspiration, uplifting words to people. That's just the nature of who he is. It's why I love the guy so much. He really is a shining light in the darkness of this deep, dark world known as social media. But he's constantly putting encouragement out there, and his heart is for people to see the value that they have in themselves. And so what he posted today, and I printed it out, the minute you realize your worth, you shift your energy to attract new people who respect your worth, but it starts with you first. And then he added in some extra commentary. This awareness of the valuable creation that you are also impacts the foods that you eat, and then the grace that you give yourself. And all of this is at the root of sustainable wellness. So what I want to talk about here today is the reality that nobody else out there is going to value your worth until you do. You have to acknowledge it first. And I know I did a recent Jimmy Rants about finding your passion and being confident in who you are. This is kind of an ancillary one to that. But finding your worth and knowing your own worth is what will attract people to seeing the value that you offer the world, and they see that worth. So what are you doing proactively to show what your worth is? What are you telling yourself about what your value and your worth is. And what I have noticed being online and kind of observing human nature for a very long time, what I have noticed is that there's a lot of people, they see no value in themselves. I mean, none, zero. You think your life is simply not worth anything. And to me, that's sad. I think every single one of us has value to this world. And if it's nothing more than the value of raising those kids that you have in your life, that's value. If it's nothing more than being a help to someone else on their journey, their health journey, for example, that's value. Have you ever stopped to think about your value, though? I don't think most people do. And when Will wrote this on his Instagram page this morning, I think he was trying to put it on the radar screen of people to start thinking about it. And what I love about how Will tied it into health, and again, if you're just joining us, Dr. Will Cole posted this nice little quote today. The minute you realize your worth, you shift your energy to attract new people who respect your worth. It starts with you first. When he posted that, some people are like, well, what's that have to do with health? And then in his commentary, he talks about how your valuing and your awareness of the valuing of what you're worth actually impacts what you eat. Because here's the thing. Think about all the people who eat their feelings. Think about all the people who, if they don't feel there's worth in what they add to the world, how many people cover up the pain of that, the pain of just existing, with food or with crap, junk food? And it's the realization that all of this is tied. I kind of go off the beaten path sometimes of nutrition to remind you that so much of this stuff that we talk about isn't just about the food you eat. But the food you eat, the reason why you make choices to eat crappy food from time to time is perhaps you don't see that value that you have. I think back to 410-pound Jimmy Moore. That dude didn't feel like he had any value at all other than being a blob of mass that was just there. I didn't see any value in myself when I was 410 pounds. And then losing weight and starting to care about my health, making better choices, it was a bit of both. I finally saw the value in who I was, and because of that value, I did not want to eat foods that were less than ideal for me. And I think when you get to that point where you start valuing yourself is when you start caring about what you put in your mouth. And that's the essence of what Will, I had Christine on the mind, what Will wrote in this Instagram post. And again, a bunch of you just joined us. Dr. Will Cole, my Keto Talk co-host, he's the author of the book Ketotarian. If you haven't checked it out, get it. He talks about a lot of these kind of mindset things in Ketotarian. Everybody said, oh, it's all about eating a plant-based keto, but it's so much more than that. Please go get a copy of Ketotarian. But he wrote this little quote this morning. The minute you realize your worth, you shift your energy to attract new people who respect that worth, but it starts with you first. And what I'm talking about here today is nobody else is going to value what you're worth until you acknowledge it first. So do you in your life, and it sounds kind of weird, look in the mirror. Ooh, baby, you are worth it. You might not do it in that many words, but do you see the value that you add to this world? If you don't, start. If you don't know what your value is, figure it out. We all have value. Do you believe that? I don't think most people do believe that. I think most people just like, well, if I wasn't here, it wouldn't matter. And I don't believe that at all. I think all of us are here for a reason. We all have a purpose in mind. And you need to see what that purpose is. You need to see what the value is that you add. If you have kids in your life, be it kids that you birthed or are raising that are family, be it kids in your life if you're a teacher, maybe you're impacting the lives of those people, maybe in your church, you've got kids, and not just kids. I'm just focusing on the kids because that's an easy one for people to see. But even just other people in your life that are best friends, coworkers, people that you influence on a daily basis. If you weren't here, would they miss you? If you weren't here, would there be any difference? I think with just about anyone, their absence changes everything. And I want you to see the value that you have, but you got to see it too. If you don't see it in your own life, how are other people going to see the value that you have in the world? And that's important. And as Will noted, it impacts the food choices that you make. It impacts how you talk to yourself and that grace that you give yourself or don't give yourself. I don't think enough people give themselves grace. And guys, I don't know about you, but there are some days that if I didn't give myself grace, nobody else would. Now, a lot of you guys love the work I do and you express it very openly. I'm incredibly grateful for all of you that encourage me and give me kind words all the time. But some days it feels like some of the negativity is just, and so I don't feel the value unless it comes from me. And I think the fact that I see the value that I have in my life, you guys see that. You guys are attracted to that. You guys say, I want what that guy's got. I want to smoke what he's smoking because I want some of that. And I think that's what happens when you start seeing that value in yourself. Other people notice, other people are attracted to it, and they want to know, what's your secret? What are you doing? How did you get there in your mind? And once you get there, and once you attract other people to see the value in you, then they start seeing the value in them, and then their sphere of influence is attracted to that, and then it cascades. And Will talks about it being at the root, that this whole conversation of seeing the value in yourself and other people seeing that value is the root of sustainable wellness. And I think you follow Jimmy Rants because you want to learn about nutrition and health and mindset and all the things that I talk about here. But the end game, the end goal is sustainable wellness. I'm 47 years old. I want to live to 97 or beyond. That's a long time from now. I don't want the end to be sooner than later. I want it to be later than sooner. And so if it becomes later than sooner, and the dogs start barking and you have to close the door, if it becomes later than sooner, then you've got a whole lot of life left to live. You got to live it. You got to value it. You got to value yourself. And I want this to be an overriding message today. This post from Will Cole, and I texted him as soon as I read it. I said, dude, that was deep. That was really, really deep, and I need to get it out there a little more. So if you haven't checked out Dr. Will Cole on Instagram, drwillcole.com, DRWILLCOLE, is his website.com is his website, but his at Dr. Will Cole is where you can find his content. He is such an encouragement, you guys. That dude knows the value that he has, and he shares it very openly, often as an encouragement to you. It's why so many people have been attracted to his Ketotarian message and why he's done so well. He just started a new podcast, by the way, called Goop Fellas, which is unbelievably inspirational. Please go listen to him. But today he moved me, and I don't read a lot of things on social media that move me. That one moved me, and I just had to share it with you here today on Jimmy Rants. All right, let's see what you guys have to say. Welcome in, welcome in. Hello, Ketoholic. Thanks for being here. Hello, Jesse. All right, Lisa says, eating well is a form of self-respect. Yeah, Lisa, I think about when I was 410 pounds, I obviously did not care or respect who and what I was. And I'm trying to think in my mind how I got to that place. It obviously was years of accumulation of not feeling worth, not feeling value. part of that was, and I don't want to be one of those people that blames their problems in adulthood on their childhood, but I had a pretty rough childhood. I was abused, and I had some difficult situations that I had to get through. So that by the time I got to be an adult and went off to college and living life, I had a lot of just ugliness that I had to get through. I know it's why I got to be 400 plus pounds. I know why I struggled for a long time respecting myself, loving myself, valuing myself, because I had pretty much been told I was a worthless piece of trash when I was a kid. And that's a lot of mind stuff that you got to get through. And if you get through that and come out the other side, you might be a little, worse for the wear, but you're on the other side. And I know I'm on the other side of that now. That seems so long ago now, when that change happened, but it still has ramifications to this day. I know it's why I still hold on to weight. I had some issues in my 20s of binge eating and all kinds of things that made this a lot more difficult journey for me than it would have been had I grown up in a loving home that said, hey, respect yourself, love yourself, you're valued. I do think there is the total other end of the situation that I dealt with. I do think some people get too highly of themselves and think too highly of themselves, and they see the value that they think they are, and it's not anywhere close to that. So I think there's extremes to both ends of that, and somewhere in the middle is the happy spot. But I think regardless of where you are in this journey, and regardless of what you've been through in your past, your value today, you need to see it. Whatever that value is, even in the midst of all that ugliness that I went through in my childhood and into my 20s, I still had value there. And think about it this way. There would be no Jimmy Moore in 2019 had I not gone through all of that experience. And I think part of the value that I have today is the fact that I went through so much of that experience. I have such a heart for people that go through difficult times now because I've been there. I know what it feels like. I know the pain that is there. I know what it feels like to not be respected and not be loved and not see the value in myself. I've been there. So for me to articulate this isn't just some Joe Schmo coming on here saying, oh, you should value yourself. No, I had to go through this journey myself on a very deep and real level personally. So what I'm sharing with you today, I know it's hard, but it's not impossible. Jesse says, Will is a good guy. Yes, he is. Behind the scenes, people don't realize Will Cole, the Dr. Will Cole that they see and hear on Keto Talk and see online, everything that you see online and hear from him and see, think about that image that you have of him. It's even more. The man is so humble. The man is so grateful. He just lives his life selflessly. And again, if we all lived our lives the way that he lives his life, and hopefully the way I live my life, if everybody just gave out of the goodness of their heart and did things to encourage others, how cool would the world be? And Will is definitely a good guy. Sometimes a small cluster of words can provoke much reflection. Yeah, this little cluster of words he posted on his social media today, they moved me. So, Jesse, I agree. Happy Memorial Day, Jimmy and Christine. Thank you, Tracy. I just finished reading Ketotarian last night, so that's awesome, Tracy. Tracy says you can lead a horse to water, but sadly you can't make them drink. I think sometimes people like to be coddled. They want to be told that they're valued and that they have worth. But here's the ironic thing. Nobody will tell you that until you tell you that. And the moment you tell you that, I know that's horrible grammar, but it is what it is. When you tell you that, you are worthy, you are valued, you have worth in your life, is the moment other people will see that worth and that value in your life. Not before. Stop waiting on someone else to see the value that you have. I struggled with that for many years. I always felt like I had lots of value to give to other people. And I could not understand why they couldn't see it. I could not understand why can't they show appreciation for the value that I bring to the world? And when I started seeing the value in myself and my own worth, is when that started happening. It's the weirdest thing, guys. And if you're just joining us, yes, this has a lot to do with your health too. Dr. Will Cole wrote this nice little post on his Instagram today, that this awareness of the valuable creation that you are will actually impact what you eat. And then the grace that you give yourself. And all of this is at the root of sustainable wellness. You could eat the best grass-fed, sustainable, organic, everything in your diet. And if you don't have value or don't see the value that you offer the world, you can't have sustainable wellness. There will be this emptiness inside that you feel that you'll never be able to fill with all the right foods in the world. You'll never be able to fill with all the right exercise in the world. You'll never be able to fill with all of this stuff until you see the value in you. Are you getting this, guys? I hope so. Low Carb New Yorker says, you got to get mad. You got to say, I'm a human being, GD, in my life has value. I love that. Lugene says, see, I think you'd make a great preacher. Well, I am preaching the gospel of common sense. I think people, they go through life thinking that there's just nothing more to this than what they have. And it goes back to that value that they don't see in themselves. And this is a good Monday morning kind of inspirational Jimmy Rants here today, because I wanted you guys to feel that, hey, maybe I've never thought about this before. Maybe I need to start seeing the value in myself. And maybe you're one of those people that's waiting on someone else to see your value. Stop and reassess in your own mind what your value is. Stop waiting for other people to see it. You see it. Now, don't become conceited about it. Oh, yes, I am the best in the world, and no one knows as much as I do, and I'm so valuable, and blah, blah. No, not that. But see your own self-worth. See the value that you offer. Love yourself. I got to the point where I stopped caring what other people thought about me, because I did see the value in myself so much. I did not need the approval of other people to give me my value. And yet a lot of people live their lives waiting on the approval of others to give them the value in their life. I think a lot of celebrities live their life that way. A lot of celebrities, they bask in the glory of their fame. And in that basking of the glory in their fame, what happens when the fame goes away and they don't make movies anymore, or they're not in the limelight anymore? How do they see themselves? Where does their value and their self-worth come from at that point? Something to think about. Mary says, since I got healthy with keto, I made it my mission to step up and teach people. I realized I have something to contribute, and after talking to dozens of people, I finally got one person to try keto, and that's awesome, Mary. I think that's the thing that we need to do, is to just be there for people. And that one person that was convinced of keto, they were, because they saw value in you. They listened to what you had to say, and now they're implementing it. And now that person is going to go in and be an influencer for someone else or someone else's, because they see the value that they offer. So it's a nice little cascade effect. Mary Posa said, I felt like a rock star. Yeah, you should. That was really awesome. Jesse says, my former self was a mess, a zero self-worth. Today, I know I'm providing value, love, and support every single day, but it had to start inside of me. And you are, Jesse. I am so inspired by the work that you do and the value that you do give others. And I think the reason you give others such value is you did find it inside yourself. And so keep doing your thing. Never let anybody take the shine off of your sparkle, as they say. Bonnie says, really important information about ourselves. It starts with us. It always starts with us, Bonnie. I think we are our own worst enemies when it comes to pretty much everything in our life. Those people that are the woe is me people that, oh my gosh, nothing good ever happens to me. I always want to just slap them upside the head and say, what are you doing to convince yourself that you're worth everything that you're wanting to have happen? Where's the value that you see in yourself? Because if you don't see it in yourself, stop belly aching that others don't see it in you. You have to acknowledge it first. Dr. Will Cole, Ketotarian is his book, his podcast, Keto Talk, and Goop Fellas. Yeah, Goop Fellas is all one word. Fellas, Fellas. Yeah, go look it up. Him and Seamus Mullen do a really good podcast. I just texted Will this morning. I said, dude, that new podcast is incredible. It's so inspiring. Their first episode aired last week. They had a former NFL football player that got paralyzed pretty much in his whole body, and his NFL career was over. And he saw his value in being a professional athlete. And in that value that he had put him in his own physical body, he had to redirect what his value was to the world once he could no longer move. Now, he has since restored his body through meditation and mindfulness and proper nutrition and yoga and all these things, and he's kind of redefined who he is and his value. So definitely it goes along with what I'm talking about here today on Jimmy Rants. Go check out Goop Fella's podcast, episode 1. It's wherever you listen to podcasts. They've got that. Ketoholic, so true. They asked me if you were just ready, finally ready to change, and I guess I was finally ready to put me first and my health. Now I'm down 72 pounds, never going back, and I tell everyone it's keto. That's awesome. That's so awesome. Dr. Cole on your podcast is so good at explaining everything. Yeah, I keep telling Will, I'm like, you were a godsend to Keto Talk. After Dr. Adam Nally left, I needed someone who could give not just information, but encouragement and be a good co-host. And he's been that and so much more. And we're really good friends off the air. Literally, we text almost all the time. And so, yeah, he's truly a good guy. Darlene says, I so appreciate the heart of your words. Thank you. Thank you, Darlene, for being here today. Lisa says, when we stuff things on the inside, it will manifest outwardly. Oh, that preaches, girl. That preaches so much, because so many people allow stuff, as you put it, to enter that's of no value, that doesn't acknowledge the value that you are. So thank you for sharing that. Secrecy will breed shame, and part of our freedom lies in sharing our story. It's one reason I try to be so transparent with you guys. It would be very easy for me to just stay on podcasts and do my podcast and kind of hide behind the microphone, but I don't. I come on camera every single day. What you see is what you get. Some people are fearful of that. Other people are like, oh, thank God somebody's being authentic. But I'm always going to be me, because that's part of seeing the worth that I have too, is I don't have to hide behind a facade. Everybody that follows my work, you're like, I have weight on the body still. The struggles that I deal with. How do you know? Because I tell you about it. Could you imagine what the world would be like if everybody stopped putting on this face and facade and pretending like they're something they're not? I would love to see that world. I think a lot of people would get out of the game, so to speak. They would stop posting because it would be too much. But I think it would be good and healthy. Hoping my sister is listening to this. Well, Lugene, send her a link. Tracy says, I truly appreciate your transparency and soul-exposing sentiments. I try to always make you think, and always make you realize that you have so much more to offer than even you realize. And I talk about this often. When I was blogging back in 2005 and into 2006, I got contacted by this guy who said, hey, if you talk as good as you write, you need to be a podcaster. And so he saw the value and the worth that I had because of the writing style that I had on my blog. He saw the value in speaking and in sharing. and he thought I would be a good podcaster. And that was 15 years ago, 14 years ago, that he saw that. And I'm still podcasting today. I'm doing Jimmy Rants today because that guy saw the value in me. Now, why did he see the value and worth that I had? Because at that point, I started valuing me too. And it attracted that. So, and his name's Kevin, by the way, and Kevin's still my podcast producer today. And to this day, he continues to encourage me and continues to do everything to make the value that I have to offer get out there even more. So if you've ever listened to any of my podcasts, you have to thank Kevin Kennedy Spain for that just as much. He saw my value way back when. Sometimes hard times are a blessing in disguise. Bonnie, I believe that. I know I would not be the man I am today had I not gone through those incredibly gut-wrenching, difficult times. I mean, I never contemplated suicide at all, nothing to that extreme, but man, was that a hard time in my teenage years. I was not treated well, and it was an extremely difficult time. A lot of the people in school around me had no idea what I was going through, but I got through it. And again, I think the man I am today is a direct result of that extraordinarily difficult time I went through. And again, I'm not one of these people, oh, my past made me... No, it is what it is. I went through that experience. It formed me into who I am today. Would I be the same person at 47 years old? Would I be that same person today had I not gone through that? I don't think so. I think everything in your life shapes you into who you are. But it sure would have been nice if I had not had to go through that. We attract what we are not... or we attract what we are, not what we want, says Lisa. Yeah. Maria, I'm hearing a lot of the benefits of autophagy. How long does it take to be in this state to achieve maximum benefits? Well, you know, my dear Maria, that is a general question that we don't answer here on Jimmy Rants until I have an open Q&A. So if you will write me a private message here on Instagram, I'll be happy to help you with that. The short answer is autophagy is brought on by fasting of at least 3 days. So do that on a regular basis and you get the benefits. All right. Yeah, Maria, you have another general question. Same answer. Yes, keto for life. No negatives to the heart, says Ketoholic. Nope. Nope. If I hadn't said this enough, from all your true viewers, thank you for everything. You truly are an inspiration and very transparent. You have a great heart. Thank you. I try to be that way with you guys. And again, I wish more people would just be themselves online. I think part of people not being themselves is they don't see the value in who they are. And I think when you're in kind of a prominent position like I am, and Maria Emmerich and Vanessa Spina and all these people that are out there very publicly in the keto world, for example, I think we all have somewhat of a pressure to feel like we have to look a certain way. We have to look the part, be the part, sound the part. And I'm over that. I don't think I have to be anything to anybody. I got nobody to answer to but myself. And I don't see where I have to change who I am simply to appease someone else. And I get that all the time, by the way. People are like, you should talk less often on your podcast and let your guests talk. Okay, if you can podcast better than me, please show me how to do it. I've done it for almost 15 years. That doesn't mean anything apparently to you. So go ahead and show me how to do it better. And so people don't always value what you have to offer. But I never seek validation from people like that. I just do my thing. And if I'm not for you, move on. It's all good. I'm not upset if you don't watch or listen to Jimmy Rants. I don't care. It's up to you. If you find value in it, then you keep coming back. But if you don't, you go away. It's all good. Nobody's unhappy at that point. Keto Kenya Jean. I lost 140 pounds on keto. but I realized the real journey was in the mind. Learning to love myself is where the true transformation happened. Gene, kudos to you, because a lot of people, they lose that much weight, and that's amazing, by the way. They lose that much weight, but their mind doesn't match what their physical body did. Your body, and people that have never lost over 100 pounds don't understand this. If you lose over 100 pounds, most people think, wow, look how much smaller you are. But in the mind of that person that lost the weight, they're still just as big as they were when they started. I was 410 pounds when I started way back when, and I lost 180 pounds. And at 180 pounds less, I still felt like the 400-pound guy. That blows people's minds. They cannot understand how you can physically see in the mirror much smaller, but up here, you're still that old weight. So if somebody could figure out a way to recraft the brain in the midst of body transformation, that person would be a very rich person, because I think the reason people rebound weight and gain back all or most of their weight again is they can't get the head stuff right. So kudos to you for realizing that you needed to love yourself, and that's part of that love is seeing the value and the worth that you have to offer. Ketoholic, that's an awesome story. You see, we need to tell people when they are being awesome or stand out or make a difference to us. Always. I think so. I appreciate your authenticity. Thank you, George. George, you are authentic too, man. I remember having that conversation with you in Chesapeake that first time, Chesapeake, Virginia, and you were just a cool dude, and you were so open about the things you were going through in your life, and yeah, you're really a cool man, and I'm honored to call you a brother in Christ and all the other things that are out there. So, if you missed this today, you guys, this is Dr. Will Cole on Instagram. He posted this. The minute you realize your worth, you shift your energy to attract new people who respect your worth, and it starts with you first. Go check this out on Instagram. Go leave a comment for Will. Encourage him back, because I think he provides so much encouragement. Sometimes those of us in leadership position, we need that encouragement back, and it certainly helps us keep going. So the bottom line of this Jimmy Rants is nobody else is going to value you and the worth that you offer until you can acknowledge it yourself. That's it for this episode of Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website. As always, you can engage live in the content, but you got to go follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Livin' Low Carb Man, LIVINLOWCARBMAN. Once you're there, you can engage live, just like all these beautiful people did here today. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. If you missed the live, you can watch it on replay for up to 24 hours. After 24 hours, it does disappear. You'll need to pop on over to YouTube, type in a keyword Jimmy Rants. You will find the show. Finally, the best of the best moments of this here show are in podcast form. It's the Jimmy Rants podcast over on Apple Podcasts as well as Stitcher. All of these links, you guys, are at JimmyRants.com. Share this one, you guys. I love doing these ones from the heart. Get it out there. Let people know they're worthy. See the value in other people. Tell them that. If someone has made a difference in your life, tell them that. If someone has added value to your life, tell them that. Don't let another day go by without seeing the value, not just in other people, but in yourself as well. All right, guys, we're out of here. Bye.